Strange Fellows podcast from Winthrop, Maine. This is Strange Fellows podcast, episode 5. We're playing another round of 20d20. We've got Louie and Tyler and Jacob, and I'm Seth. And we're going to play the same little game, and we're going to, that we played in episode 4. And we're going to come up with some stuff right now. Lou, you go first.
Okay, this one's about a plane heist.
Love heists.
So, we have on the plane, there are snakes. Not creative, originally taken, but there are definitely massive snakes on this plane.
It is
I love you guys so much.
It is an international relief effort. It's like a military jumbo jet, and they're trying to repopulate a certain area that the snake population was killed off. So they're bringing in more snakes, and as part of the PR efforts, they also brought along Ice Cube and Jennifer Lopez.
This is actually a top secret strain of snake DNA, and the snakes are hyper intelligent and they can speak.
They are also asexual, so they don't need multiples to create more of them.
So in order to get to the island of snakes, also known as Snake Island, is where they need to go. J-Lo and Ice Cube are there to somehow sabotage it because it goes against their morals. Snakes should not be talking, and they should be not brought to an island where other snakes talk.
So, wait. Are the snakes already on the plane?
Oh, there's snakes on the plane.
But J-Lo and Ice Cube don't want them to be on the plane,
Okay.
right?
It's
Because they're
got
trying to stop
complicated.
it?
I thought we were
confused.
repopulating.
That's what I thought. But they're against the repopulation. Wait,
Maybe
what?
one of us is the saboteur if you want a saboteur.
Let's
we know
do that.
the saboteur thing works so well.
Okay.
I'm not
Okay,
married to
you
it for
go-
all
you go
time,
again.
but it's
Go again. All right, there are. The problem is one of the four of us want to destroy the plan of not our plan, J-Lo and Ice Cube's plan.
there we go.
To reintegrate these talking snakes with their buddies on Snake Island.
Okay. So this will all take place in the air. 2 of us are pilots, and 2 of us are cargo crew. And we are within sight of the island, and we will touch down in 10 minutes. Like, we're on our approach.
Okay.
Are we trying to repopulate the island, or are we trying to stop the repopulation?
We're all for it except one of us who will be revealed at 5 minutes.
And
is
they're
actually
working in
against it.
secret with J-Lo and...
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
Oh, wait, Ice Cube and J-Lo
They're
are
good.
They're pro.
They're chill.
pro repopulation. We
Okay.
retconned that.
Okay.
This is
All
actually
right.
their charity cause.
This is
you know?
good. I like
Okay,
it.
this is their charity
yeah.
cause.
Yeah.
But one of us is like the scientist who's like,
Yes.
animals should not act like
Yes.
people, right?
That's exactly
We don't
right.
need to start breeding other things
Yeah.
that talk on this planet.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so the main...
Even if they don't have
Oh,
thumbs.
let's see. Well, then with this... Okay, so then we can't do main thing of 10 minutes being landing because we all want it to land.
No. Maybe
so
the
at
five,
five-
maybe the 5
five-
minute person's a suicide person. Just like wants to crash the plane into the ocean and take the parachute.
What?
Right. Maybe the person who is a saboteur
Yes.
at 5 minutes, they're going to start trying to just...
Yeah,
Right.
what's,
Right, and
what's,
we're trying to get the plane to land. Like, that's
yeah.
that's the mission.
Can one of
Yeah.
us be the pilot? 'Cause that
Instead of it being like, oh, we all die at the end,
what
like the goal is like we actually land the plane.
Yeah, so the goal is to land the plane. 5 minute is saboteur becomes available. What's the 10-minute mark? The plane lands or it's
The
blown
plane
up?
lands successfully,
Okay.
Yeah.
so we have
that's-
to we have to outlast.
Yeah.
Did you say 2 are cargo and 2 are pilots?
I think that sometimes...
To our cargo, yeah.
What would be the advantage of having these separate jobs? I think it's really good if everybody's just generic can do anything.
Well, I think the point would be that
Story. Just for story.
no, I think it actually would be in terms of like saboteur. If the saboteur is a pilot, it's a very different story than if the saboteur is a cargo, because you're like crashing the plane or you're like opening the cargo. You know, like there's
So
different.
maybe we just roll
to
to see what's going on. Well, whoever has the highest roll will be the saboteur at the time of 5 minutes.
I
Yes.
love that.
Yes.
We'll know because then you guys will know who it is. Well, you're gonna
nobody
find out
knows.
anyway.
Right. I
We'll
love
know right away. Like the first act of the 5 minute mark will.
Okay,
be
but when we
explicit.
do that, the saboteur gets first turn.
Love it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what
I
we
thi-
did last time.
I
too.
think it's.
Yeah.
I think it could also be the saboteur doesn't have to show that their cards right away. They could try to be sneaky.
Could all
Right, but if we're all rolling in the open, that's what I'm
Yeah, I
saying.
know. Well, the players will know, but the characters don't have to know. Is what I'm
Okay.
saying, right?
Can we just have 4 players, us on this plane with J Lo and Ice Cube, and that's
Yep.
that's it. That's and the
And the
snakes.
snakes.
The snakes are definitely on.
Yeah,
the plane.
that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
And who knows where they are?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
I think we have to know where they are for reply.
Are we doing
They're
it
on
time?
the plane.
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
We're at 6 minutes.
Okay.
Oh, we have plenty of time. Okay.
Yeah, so we could jump into, or we could keep.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be 20 minutes
Yeah,
for the
I
whole
think
thing.
Is there anything else that we would want? Anybody wants to add to the scenario?
I think that's pretty good. So 5 minutes saboteur, 10 minutes plane lands. Saboteur is going to try to make it so the plane doesn't land or kill the snakes or something.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Are there? Do we need to designate the items on the plane, or
Nope.
is that just
No,
naturally?
just
come?
roll.
Should we
Beautiful.
roll right now though to decide who's pilots, who's cargo?
No.
I think we need to for like role play.
All right.
All right,
Right.
I'm going full.
If
Highest 2 rolls are pilots.
highest two.
Not one. Louis not a pilot.
I got a 19. Ooh,
Tyler's very likely a pilot.
flown many planes in my life.
3, I am probably not a pilot.
Cargo.
All right.
All right, Tyler,
Cargo,
out of the
cargo.
pilots.
Tyler and Seth.
All right, we ready to start?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Louis, why don't you kick us off again?
Okay, so we're on this plane. Clear skies ahead. We're 10 minutes to landing. Everything seems fine. There's a jet stream. I'm gonna try and catch. Maybe I can shave a couple minutes off.
We're cargo.
Yeah,
Huh?
you're cargo.
We're
You
cargo,
and him are
not
cargo.
pilot.
You just hop, you're like, guys, it's good. Just hop out. Bye, Louis. It's been fun.
No.
2 blocks on the floor.
So yeah, I'm going to start preparing for when we land, since we're only 10 minutes out. Let's. What am I doing though? I'm. No, I start strapping things down, so they don't. So that I mean, the things are already strapped down because we're in movement.
Double check, bro.
All right. I'm double checking to make sure everything's strapped down.
So things are
What's the dice say?
8. So the things are kind of strapped down a little bit. And Seth and I are flying the plane, and we start to hit a little bit of turbulence, and we hear boxes shaking down in the cargo station that aren't sealed very well. They should have been. They should have been.
Come on, Lou.
And there's a turbulence, and it doesn't just start shaking. I mean, this plane all of a sudden starts really shaking.
Number.
It's a 9. So as it's shaking, you lose control with your like wheel, steering wheel, pilot wheel, hydraulic, whatever. You can tell that something has broken and it just moves fluidly. So you immediately tell your co-pilot Seth to take over flying, which he does. And he's trying to study it as well, but it is turbulence, there's boxes. I'm in the back. I am distracted. I'm not helping Louis with the boxes because it's finally my chance. Finally. And I walk over and I say, J-Lo, Ice Cube, could I get your autographs?
Three. They both look at you with disgust. Like you just spit directly into the one drink that can cure cancer. And meanwhile, I'm up there in the cockpit, and I'm trying to run some analysis to figure out what happened to Tyler's joystick and let's see if I got good news that it was just a regular malfunction.
Yeah. So you find that 17. You find that there was a simple problem, just a loose wire. You just plugged it back in. Seems good. Meanwhile, there's like a whole stack of like snake cargo that's like about to fall over and break open, and like these snakes are gonna get loose maybe.
11. So I run down to the cargo station, and I see that these boxes have tipped over a little bit, and only one box, though, that has fallen to the ground. One box has fallen to the ground, and the rest are starting to fall. And out of that box, there are about 15 talking snakes that come out. And I run down and I yell to you guys to warn you that there are snakes on this plane. That one.
Nat 1. As you come down out of the cockpit to yell the warning to us, you realize that you're a motherfucking pilot and you shouldn't even be in the cargo bay, which is what I yell at you when I see you because I'm hurt by being spurned by J-Lo and Ice Cube. So I see you coming and I say, "Get back in your cockpit, pilot." And then I turn around and I see the snakes and I say, "What are you guys doing on this plane?"
Nat 20. So, the snake is a cobra, and it kind of stands up and flicks its tongue a few times, and it starts to talk, and we realize that the problem with the snakes is not that they're venomous or hungry or want to kill us. They're just dreadfully boring. They just want to talk about the most boring, inane stuff, and that's why the scientists have locked them up in the crate, so we don't get dangerously bored to death and just crash the plane out of insanity from being so sleepy and bored from the things that the snakes are saying. Meanwhile, I'm in the cockpit and a little red light goes blink, blink, blink because the snakes are loose. And I'm going to reach around and try to find the emergency switch that will just lock the snakes in the cargo bay so that they don't come up and bore us all to death.
Nat 1.
So we are at the 5-minute mark.
Roll for saboteur.
Yeah.
Highest is the one who's a saboteur. 2. Tyler got a 4.
Jacob
got a 13.
13.
Seth's got a 3.
Okay, so Seth is looking to lock the cargo bay. You
get the first turn.
Okay, oh yeah, you're right. Okay, so Seth was looking for a button to press to lock the cargo bay, and he sees it, and he presses it, and it just, like, clunks into the board, and nothing happens.
Oh, no.
And then I look sideways at the camera. And then I start cutting one of the bindings that's holding the tipped snake boxes that are about to go. And I'm just cutting it and cutting it and cutting it, trying to cut it loose so that they all come piling out.
4. All right. Jacob is having trouble cutting the box open, and the lead cobra walks up. And he says, "Oh, that reminds me of a time that I was shopping for a knife, and the knives were dull, but I had enough money to buy a knife, but I want to get a better deal on a knife." And he just keeps going on and on and on about this story. Meanwhile, Seth, the pilot, is going to put the airplane on autopilot for a second and try to fumble around and fix the button that didn't lock up.
Okay, so he does fix the button. He rolled a 16. But right before he initiates, a snake that has the voice of James Earl Jones comes in and starts telling him a lullaby that he wrote. And meanwhile, I'm trying to like pile these snakes back into the crates, and I've got like 7 snake bites already, and I'm like pushing these snakes into this crate, but I'm also like trying to inject myself with anti-venom, and we'll see if the anti-venom works.
Ooh, the anti-venom.
What's it like?
It's a 7.
Yeah.
The anti-venom does not work. And Louis just goes down to his knees, then down on his side. In the meantime, I was told to go upstairs. I was like, I can't do this. I can't. There's snakes down here, and I've seen that they're all talking. And I go over to J-Lo and Ice Cube, and I say, hey, there's too many motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane. We need to do something about this. So I said, you take those boxes over there. You take those boxes over there, J-Lo. You over there, Ice Cube. And I'm going to try to hold up these 20 boxes of snakes that have about 20 snakes in them apiece.
With a roll of a 6, you are struggling to push the boxes back up, and they slowly start tipping over you, and the top one falls behind you and spills open, and 15 more snakes come out, and more are about to fall. I take this opportunity to shout to Ice Cube, to Tyler, and to J-Lo that Louis has fallen down and somebody needs to inject him with the venom. While they're all distracted with the snakes and the death, I go into the cockpit and I push all of the buttons.
8. All right. You make it into the cockpit, and I'm so busy trying to repair the lockdown, the cargo bay button, that I don't notice you, and you just start pressing buttons, and I'm like, what's that sound? And I'm just going to get on the intercom that I have on my shoulder, so I don't have to like actually get up and look at who's in there. I'm going to say, Captain Tyler, I need you to attend back at the cockpit here. We're having some trouble. I'm not able to get the auto lockdown going on, and J-Lo and crew, if you could all just kindly put your emergency earplugs in your ears so that the snakes don't bore you to death, we'll be able to make the landing safely in time before we run out of fuel.
Okay, 17. So the intercom system is working, so everybody starts to follow your directions. Meanwhile, I'm like so full, like I'm pumped full of snake venom, that I'm like delirious, and I started going over, and I think I'm like pushing snakes into a bin, but I'm actually like
hiding all the earplugs.
I'm messing with the landing gear. Like I'm pulling like wires from the landing gear and like pushing it into a box. And we'll roll to see how bad I mess up the landing gear.
19. Louis is ripping apart this landing gear, and I'm holding up the box and fell. I'm like, screw it, let all the snakes. And all these boxes fall and snakes scatter anywhere. And I run over and I see Louis has just untangled all of these wires, lots of them for the landing gear. And I start to run upstairs, and I'm like, oh shit, that's a bad decision. Turn around, grab the anti-venom, and jab it into Louis' leg.
With a roll of a 6, you jab it so frantically that the needle goes through his leg, comes out the other side, and when you depress the plunger, the anti-venom just squirts out onto the floor of the plane. Unsuccessful. And this is each of our last turns.
Okay.
So with my last turn, I am going to, while Seth is still fiddling under the cockpit and worried about the other buttons I pushed, I am just going to grip the ceiling where buttons and knobs and stuff are, and I'm just going to take one foot and I'm just going to kick the joystick all the way forward, trying to nosedive us into the runway that we are really close to.
8. All right, so you grab it and you kick it, and you start kicking it, and it nudges the plane enough to make me realize something's up. I get up, and I I start to tie you up and get you out of the way so I can safely land the plane. But then the James Earl Jones snake in the room starts telling me this lullaby. And I'm really good with knots because I was an Eagle Scout before I went to piloting school. But I'm also really tired from this really long flight, and the lullaby is really nice, and I'm gonna just try to stay awake while he's. And then 4 sheep hopped over the fence, and then 5 more sheep hopped over the fence.
With a roll of a 2, the snake successfully puts you to sleep. And the plane does start to nosedive. Meanwhile, I am delirious in the back, pulling landing gear wires off from the landing gear, stuffing them into a box.
With a hole in your leg.
The needle's still sticking through.
I'm going to attempt I think that I put all the snakes away, and I hear a lot of snakes talking still, and I think that there are more people on the plane all of a sudden that we've already landed, and so I'm gonna go try to open the door so that I can start unloading all the cargo.
11. So you do successfully open the door. We are. The good news is that a lot of the snakes fly out of the sucked out, vacuumed out the door into the. We're going to Snake Island, so I assume the ocean. We're almost at the runway, but we
Snakes are all
are.
talking about baseball statistics.
Did you know?
So we are just absolutely nosediving. I have run to help get snakes. I've run halfway upstairs and I realize we are screwed. I run up to, really quickly I see Lewis. I just look at him. I'm like, that poor guy, he's in trouble. I go and I see J-Lo and Ice Cube. They're holding boxes. And I say, J-Lo, stand on this side of me. Ice Cube, stand on this side of me. And pad me a little bit, please, because we are about to hit the ground.
So they, with a roll of a 5, they immediately obey, and they come and stand beside you to protect you as their last charitable sacrifice. And the plane crashes, and you think, as the impact hits, oh, surely I will be saved because I have the meat pillows. And you do survive the plane crash. You do. They cushioned your boom boom, but unfortunately, as you were lying on the runway, bleeding out slowly, the snakes talked you into sleeping. It just felt so right, and so you fell asleep and bled out, the last survivor of the charitable mission to reunite the talking snakes with their brethren on Snake Island.
All right.
Nice.
That's how 20D20 goes.
There were no survivors.
I don't think we've ever had a successful one.
It's always, you're right, it always like comes down to one dice roll. It's like we just do everything we can, and then at the end it's like one dice roll instead of 5.
Yeah. I liked that.
I like that.
I liked the snake venom making you crazy, and then you became a
Sabotage.
saboteur too. Yeah, like
We had two.
yeah, because I definitely failed. Like all my rolls were
Yeah.
unsuccessful as a saboteur.
I was surprised that the snakes were biting people because I thought they would just. I thought we'd riff on
we're
that
just talking.
talking.
Yeah.
You know, like I had a
Well,
lot
they
of
didn't
fun.
want
though.
to get put back in the box.
that's
So, like, I was,
fine,
like,
yeah.
trying to stuff them in the boxes. They were like,
What was more dangerous in the end? Was it the snakes biting us or the snakes talking to
Talking
us?
to pilots.
Yeah,
Their words were.
they were successful, and
dangerous.
and I wasn't. Yeah.
So that's 20D20. Thanks for tuning in, folks. See you next time.